Hey, good morning. Just a little after 8:30. Sorry for getting started a little later. Happy New Year, everyone. Really excited to be on the phone with you today. I hope that you guys are all refreshed from that long vacation weekend and you're ready to go with whatever tasks you have at hand today. I know I'm excited. It's the new year, 2024. Wow. Just excited to accomplish a lot of really good things this year. And excited to join the journey with you guys and see how we can help you become better business people, investors, just all around everything. So I've got an awesome guest on this morning. His name is Jeremy Smith. He's a personal friend of mine. And basically, Jeremy he's my financial advisor. And he's done so much for me. He basically got into financial advising. And I'll let him give you a little bit of his background also here shortly. This is my story and how I remember it. I mean, it's been close to 20 years. Is Jeremy basically got into financial advising about the same time I got into real estate. And you guys, probably the best advice I've ever been given financially. I'm talking like the top three, like when I say the best. Maybe even two, would be from Jeremy, just basically telling me, and me having a feeling to speak with Jeremy, or Jeremy getting connected. One way or another, we got connected, and we're actually from the same town in Snowflake, Arizona. And anyways, I got connected with him about the same time I got into real estate. And my goal was to give at least 20% of my earnings monthly. And I don't think I started 20% right off the bat, but I've done my best to basically give 20% of my earnings to a financial planner, which has been Jeremy for the last close to 20 years. And the reason why I think that's so important for anyone, especially this new year, if you guys have anything you want to accomplish, any big goal you want to accomplish, you need to set aside financially a certain portion of your check that you feel like you could do. And if you could do 20%, I'll literally do a backflip for you, because it's just so important to budget financially, to give a financial planner at least 20% it just builds up, guys. It just builds up. There's just so many things we can go over as far as like residual income, compound interest, just so many exciting things. And so I just want you guys to listen to me just really, really clearly. You need to budget in 2024. This will be a game changer for you, I promise you. If you could budget monthly a certain portion, and I would love for it to be 20% towards a financial planner. And there's some other things that you could do maybe just to get started before you get a little chunk of change before you hand it over to a financial planner, and we'll go over that. But I just want you guys, it's just so important. And then, I get a lot of young people coming to me, and, they're just getting their career started, and they're like, what should I do? And, of course, I'm like, I feel like real estate's the best, but just get a really great day job. My brother-in-law, he's a police officer, and he's going to retire just a little over 20 years in being a police officer. And I think he's extremely financially stable. And guess what? He's only going to be in his 40s, and he's going to go get another job, and he's going to go work another 15 or 20 years, and he's going to be pulling double retirement. So real estate's not like the best thing per se to go get wealthy. What the best thing to do is to get wealthy is to financially plan, and that is putting and setting aside a monthly budget of giving that to a financial planner, because over time it adds up. And so with that being said, I'm so sorry for the long intro, Jeremy. Hopefully you're on the line, right?
I'm here, my friend. I'm
on a tangent because I think it's that important, and it's the number one thing you need to focus on 2024. I was on listening to a podcast yesterday live, by a friend of mine, and he said something that kind of I've been thinking about all morning. He said, I don't know any wholesalers. I'm a wholesaler. Yes, I do wholesale. I do auction. I'm an entrepreneur. You guys know I have the barbecue restaurant, a lot of other businesses. But he said, I don't know any wholesalers that are wealthy. I just don't. And that's what he told me. So he was basically saying he knows that I'm a wholesaler, and he knows that any wholesaler is not wealthy. That's not what gets you wealthy, is wholesaling or auctions or real estate or your day job. What gets you wealthy is building time over time. So anyway, Jeremy Smith, a miracle to my financial success over the last close to 20 years, is on the line. Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us.
Yep.
I appreciate it. Give me a small bio of who you are and what you do.
No, it's my pleasure, Spencer. I'm a fiduciary financial planner, which means that I work with people and sit down and look at where they're at in their life and what their goals are in their timeline. And as a fiduciary, my job is to tell them without any filter what I absolutely think would move the needle for them. And yeah, I love it. It's what I've been doing the majority of my career. And yeah, I love seeing people on their financial journey making progress. And once they start to get momentum, to see the shift that happens in the way that they view themselves and the way they view their future. So yeah.
I like that. I like what you just said, without any filters, because all of us need to hear that. Like, oh crap, I'm 40-something years old and I just haven't financially planned. I'm a complete idiot. It's never too late to start. I don't care if it's a couple $100 a month. It's never too late to start. And you know, you said something else. Said view yourself. Go into that a little bit more. When you said view yourself and view the filter. View yourself and view your future.
Yeah, like I think that if I could say the one thing that I've learned that has the biggest impact on people, that has to do with what you were speaking on, is like when people start to get clear. And I want to credit this to a book that I read early on in my career, Think and Grow Rich. And if I could take one thing away from that book that changed my life forever, it was, as soon as I can get really, really clear and get a burning desire to build something or achieve something, if I am willing to get crystal clear on what that is, and then I'm willing to put action around it, I can have whatever I want. And I think that's not just something unique to me. I think that's true to everybody. And in the world of finances, when people start to get clear that they want to create something for themselves, and then they're willing to seek the right help and put something in action, it doesn't have to be a life-changing shift day one. You mentioned it. You don't have to start 20% day one, but you have to start with something. And you have to start with something and stick with something and be disciplined. And over time, you can improve that and just stay in action around it. And you'll literally change your life by doing that. And not just in the domain of retirement savings, but in others. But in this conversation about retirement savings, the biggest thing that it does is it creates a discipline and it creates action in an area. And we're not steering a parked car, right? We're driving this thing. And if you want to be successful financially, you've got to be driving around sound principles. And I'm a firm believer in my own life. I get a coach. I have a business coach. If I'm in the domain of nutrition, I get expert advice. And I think it's been one of the best investments I've ever made, is getting professional advice from someone that I can trust and that I can count on.
I love it. I like what you said when you mentioned creating. You know, we are all, we can't be stagnant in 2024. We can't just sit there and think about what we're going to do. We've got to get up and we've got to take action. We've got to create and have that momentum. And like you said, if you can do 20% this month in January, just do something and commit to that. So, you know, Jeremy, back in the day when he started just getting going and I started getting going in Arizona, in real estate in Arizona, he was actually cool with me giving him, I think, like a few $100 auto withdraw out of my check. Unfortunately, I think that you've created quite a big, you know, career for yourself. What's the minimum amount that you need for someone to have in their pocket before they come to you, before you'll start advising them?
There's a different level of advice. If someone wants me full time, then obviously it requires a more significant chunk of retirement. But in order to help people, I've got a team that I've also built. So you'll send some young people my way. And listen, one of the things I'm committed to is giving people a place to at least find out where to start. So even if I can't take them on as a client, like if someone calls and wants to talk to somebody and get that straight advice, they can call and we'll talk to them. But normally my minimum where I'm giving my full service of financial planning starts at $500,000. But that's just where the practice is at. But I have other people that can help people that are way below that. And listen, if you don't have that, don't hear that it is like, man, I got a long way to climb. Like, no, you got to start exactly where you're at, and you've got to take action. And it doesn't have to be the perfect investment or anything like that. It just needs to be action and then improvement over time and sticking with it.
Right. And you guys, I started out at, from what I remember, $200 a month. It could have been less. It could have been a little bit more, but that's where I started out. It's like, hey, I'm going to take $200 a month and just put that towards it. And then obviously things change. You start to make a little bit more money in your career, and then you start to figure out, like, I've got to start doing some tax sheltering, and I've got to start to build up some 401ks. It's funny because a lot of people in real estate, they're like, I'm in real estate. I don't need to go do the stock market. Well, guess what? Don't be stupid because you need the tax shelter, and you need to have multiple eggs in different baskets. You can't just realize because if my portfolio was 100% real estate, you guys, and the real estate market were to fall tomorrow, I would hope that I'm going to be okay because I put some other resources out there into small business, into financial planning with Jeremy, which a lot of the money is in the stock market. So I just think it's really, really important to, just because you're in real estate doesn't mean you should invest 100% in real estate. So
can I say something along those lines?
Please do.
A big part of what I do help people do is set up some type of a retirement account. But one of the most important things that I do for my clients now, especially as the careers progress, and I've got a lot of clients that have exited businesses now, a lot of large real estate portfolios. The biggest thing that we're looking to do is create optimization in their world, and so much of that has to do with taxes and making sure that even when we are creating good investment returns, that the majority of those returns are staying in your pocket and not going out to Uncle Sam. And there's such a huge opportunity for people without their understanding of how to use certain retirement accounts, how to use certain strategies in the space of real estate or using their business to be more tax efficient. But probably the single biggest area we make, in addition to creating discipline for people, is optimizing their efficiency and coordinating their strategy of these moving parts. And it seems like it almost always falls back into optimization on how do we be more efficient with taxes? How do we make sure the returns that we're creating are staying in our pocket?
Right. I love that. Okay, there's two secret words and statements that we might all be surprised that not even adults understand. And they're two secret words that I teach every young person that comes to me and says, okay, where do I start? And the two words are compound interest is so important, and residual income. What is compound interest to you, Jeremy?
Compound interest is the ability for your money to earn interest, and then for that interest to start earning interest and to climb that trajectory to where at some point your interest is earning more than what you put into your investments. Interest is earning interest over time.
Right. To me, it's honestly just magic. It's either magic or magical. Compound interest, like, study it. Spend 15, 30 minutes on compound interest today. If you haven't spent any time recently on it, it's huge. Likewise, talk to me about residual income.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing that we're doing to prepare ourselves for our future financially is accumulating assets, right? Residual income is a thing when we really start drilling into someone planning for their future at a point, retirement or a time where they want to shift careers. Residual income is this idea that you have investments producing income and it doesn't take you actively participating in it. It means you don't have to show up at the job and turn the crank for that income to show up. Residual income is you have assets and they're kicking out income year over year over year over year. And that income is coming in whether you're focusing on it or not. It's just year over year coming in the door.
Right. A good example for careers that would have a lot of residual income would be insurance agents. Insurance guys seem like they spend a lot of time building their portfolio for the first 3 years and then maintaining while building. Another one would be property managers who are managing 1,000 houses and they're getting, $70 per house they're managing for the next, monthly. They're getting that reoccurring monthly revenue. So Anyways, I've taken enough of Jeremy's time and your time this morning. Now's the time for you to go create and focus on what you need to get done today. And I, like I said, Jeremy, I can't thank you enough. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Happy New Year to you and your family. I forgot to tell you also about, I told you that Jeremy and I are from the same town, but this guy, I look up to you, Jeremy, because you are an awesome father and an excellent, awesome husband. So this guy's a family guy that puts family first. I've been jealous from Jeremy for several years because he's kind of got my dream job as a football coach of my hometown and just working with kids and making a difference and changing lives. Jeremy, you're someone I look up to, and I really appreciate you as a friend and as my financial planner and helping my future. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Likewise, my friends. Those such kind words. And listen, I would be amiss if I didn't leave your guests with some parting advice. None of that's an accident. Like, your life is going to be what you create it to be, whether you realize it or not. So let's go make it intentional. Let's get clear about the things. What would be your dream life? And let's get clear on that and get in action. Start right now. Taking action is the first part of the year. Figure out, get clear on one or two things, or if you know that there's something you want to change, and hopefully it's in the domain of being successful financially, or if it's in your family or your relationship, just get clear and get in action around it. And if you stay on that course, magic happens.
I love it. I agree. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. Thank you, Jeremy. See you, bud.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.